Hi everyone, in this video we'll see about STEM and STEAM pyramid approaches. So which are widely used in modern education to develop the problem solving, creativity and innovation skill. Now let's start with the STEM pyramid. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering and mathematics. So these four disciplines work together to help the students to understand and solve the real world problems. So in STEM pyramid, the mathematics forms a foundation because it provides the calculation and also the logical thinking needed in all areas. It can be engineering or it can be other field. We need a basic mathematics. Then the science helps us to understand how the world works through observation and experiments. And they have engineering. The engineering applies a scientific knowledge to design a solution. So while technology uses the tools, simulation tools and systems to implement these solutions. Now, the STEM approach encourages the students to think critically, analyze the problem, and develop the practical solutions. So, it basically prepares the learner for career in engineering, technology, or research, and many other technical fields. Now, I'll move on to the STEAM pyramid. A STEAM pyramid stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. So it includes all the elements of STEM but adds the arts as an important component. So arts brings the creativity and also imagination, communication, and design thinking into the learning process. So for example, if the students are designing a school garden, the STEM approach focuses on scientific and technical aspects such as the plant growth, irrigation system, and measurements in the STEM approach. Whereas in STEAM approach, the students also consider the appearance of the garden and also the arrangement of the plant, how the people will experience and enjoy the space. So this combination of technical knowledge and creativity leads more innovative and user-friendly solution in using a STEAM pyramid. So the main difference between STEM and STEAM pyramid is that the STEM focuses on functionality and technical skill, whereas the STEAM pyramid combines the technical skill with the creativity and design. So both the approach helps the students to become a better problem solver, but the STEAM encourages the students to think beyond the functionality and consider the aesthetics, communication, and human needs. So if you look at today world, the industry needs the people who can think both logically and also creatively. So therefore, the STEM and STEAM approach plays a vital role in preparing the students for future career and helping them become innovative thinker. Now we'll discuss in more about STEM and STEAM separately. The STEM pyramid is a visual representation of four core disciplines like science, technology, engineering, mathematics. This pyramid illustrates how each discipline builds upon the others to develop a knowledge, innovation, and problem solving skill. If you look at the structure of STEM pyramid, it has totally four layers. A mathematical layer, it's a foundation layer. So mathematics forms the base of STEM pyramid because it provides a fundamental language and tool needed for all STEM field. So the basic key functions of mathematical layer is generally a numerical calculation, data analysis, logical reasoning, modeling, and simulation problem solving. The students can learn about the algebra, geometry, trigonometry, calculus, statistics. So without the mathematics, it is very much difficult, or it would be very difficult to analyze the scientific data, design in engineering system, or developing the technological solution. The second layer is the engineering layer. The engineering means applying the mathematical and scientific principle to design, build a solution for a real world problem. So the key functions of engineering layer is for designing a system and products and developing the prototype and testing and optimization of problem solving through a design. For example, a mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, civil, aerospace engineering. So these engineers should know how to apply the mathematical and scientific principles for solving the real world problem. So the importance of engineering transforms the theoretical concepts into a practical applications such as machine, bridges, for civil engineering, bridges, vehicles, and energy systems. A third layer is a technology layer. The technology layer refers to the tool or a device or a software and the system created through engineering to improve the human life. So the key function of this technological layer is automation, communication, data processing, and information management. So generally the IoT and artificial intelligence are comes in this technological layer, robotics, another field. So the importance of technological layer is technology enables the efficient implementation of the scientific discoveries and engineering innovations. And fourth layer is a science, this is a top layer. The science occupies the top layer because it focuses on understanding the natural phenomena through observation, experimentation, and analysis. So, example like a physics, chemistry, biology, environmental science. This science generates a knowledge that drives the technological advancement and engineering innovations. So here, if you take all the four layers, the mathematics provides a calculation and analytical tool. The engineering uses the mathematics to design the solutions, and technology implements the engineering solution. As science uses a technological tool to make new discoveries. So new scientific discoveries lead to improve the technological and engineering design. STEM education has a lot of benefits. The first and foremost point is a critical thinking. The students can learn to analyze the problem systematically, and they can develop the logical solution. The second one is the innovation, because it encourages the creativity in designing a new product and technologies, and also it helps to do a problem solving. The students can develop the ability to address the real world problem. They can also have a collaboration. They can promote the teamwork through multidisciplinary project and prepare the students for career in engineering, research, manufacturing, robotics, data science, and emerging technologies. If you consider one example related to a STEM approach, so the project which I have taken is designing and building a school garden. So the students should know the science. The science, they know how to study the plant growth and soil types and water requirement for the plant growth. So these are all the points considered science. Now coming to technology, the technology, they need to use a proper irrigation system and gardening tool to have a better growth of the plant. And third is engineering. Engineering, they know how to design a garden layout and drainage system, because drainage system plays a major role for the plant growth, right? So the engineering knowledge is required to design the garden layout and drainage system. Then coming to the mathematics, they should know how to calculate the area for school garden, and the plant spacing for each plant, how much space should be provided, and the water usage. So if you look at the outcome, a functional garden that supports a healthy plant growth using STEM approach. Now we'll see the STEAM pyramid. STEAM pyramid is also an educational framework that integrates science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics to promote both technical knowledge and creativity. So it shows how these disciplines are work together to develop the innovation, problem solving skill, and real world solutions. So if you look at the levels of STEM pyramid, as like a STEM pyramid, mathematics is a foundation layer. For both STEM and STEAM pyramid, the mathematics is a foundation layer which provides a numerical analysis, logical skills required for STEM learning. Okay, the second layer is the arts. Arts basically encourages the creativity, design thinking, communication, innovation. So it acts as a bridge between the technical knowledge and the human-centered solutions. The third is engineering. The engineering applies the scientific and mathematical principle to design and build a practical system and products. Coming to technology, the technology utilizes tools, software, and digital system to implement and improve the solutions. And science always plays a top level layer. This develops the understanding of natural phenomena through observation, experimentation, and research. So here, if you look at this STEM pyramid, it has totally 5 layers, whereas in STEM it has only 4 layers. So here the art is playing a major role here. It encourages the creativity, design, imagination, and innovation to express the ideas and add value to the solutions. The inclusion of arts distinguishes the STEAM and from STEM. So it enhances the creativity and innovation. It encourages the students to think beyond the conventional solution and develop some new ideas or innovative ideas. The second is it improves the design thinking ability. So it helps to create a product and the system that are functional, user friendly, and aesthetically appealing. Then this arts also gives necessity for strengthens communication skill, where the students can have effective presentation skill, a technical concept through visual, verbal, and digital media. And also the arts promotes a critical thinking ability. It encourages the exploration of multiple perspective and creative problem solving approach. And arts also supports the real world applications. It integrates a human need, a culture, and social impact into a scientific and engineering solutions. Arts also increases student engagement in making the learning more interactive, enjoyable, and meaningful by combining the technical and creative discipline. So for the same project idea, we'll see how to apply this STEAM approach. So as I discussed in the STEM, designing and building a school garden, the same problem is taken for a STEAM approach also. I'll see what is how it makes from STEM to STEAM. So first is the science. The science in this project, they need to understand the plant growth and environmental condition. Coming to technology, they must know how to use the irrigation system and digital monitoring tool for monitoring the irrigation of the plant growth, soil moisture, the plant has any disease. There are a lot of parameters they can capture in the irrigation system using the technology. Now coming to the third point is engineering. Engineering, as I already told, they know how to design and create a structure and the pathway for the garden. So they should know the size and other things using mathematics. Then coming to the arts have a creative, attractive landscape. So the students can also gain a lot of knowledge on how to creatively make the garden, which is more attractive and colorful flower arrangement and aesthetic layout. So the STEM approach, the arts is playing an additional role. They can have some creative and attractive idea for making the colorful garden and the aesthetic layout. Coming to the mathematics, as I already told in STEM, it generally used for making the calculation, dimension, spacing, and resource requirements. So we look at the outcome of a STEAM approach. A STEAM approach is a functional and attractive and environmental friendly garden that is in both useful and visually appealing way. Whereas in STEM approach, we are not bothering about the creative and attractive type of school garden. Whereas in STEAM approach, we can make a garden which is more attractive, functional, and environmental friendly, and also it has a visual appealing. Right? That is the difference between a STEM and STEAM approach. So if you look at the key difference between STEM and STEAM, STEM focuses on mainly on functionality, problem solving, and technical knowledge. So I have a question, how can we build a garden that grows the plant effectively? So we are just worrying about how do we grow the plant in an effective manner. Whereas in STEAM approach, it mainly focuses on functionality, creativity, design, and user experience. So you can have a question, how can we build a garden that grows the plant effectively and it is also beautiful and engaging way. So this makes a difference between a STEM and STEAM approach. So if you look at the STEM versus STEAM pyramid approach, so it basically building a skill in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The STEAM pyramid integrates the arts into a STEM for creative and innovation. So the art is a bridge that connects the creativity with the technical knowledge to solve the real world problems. So STEM mainly focuses on technical skill and problem solving, whereas STEAM mainly focuses on creativity, innovation, and real world impact. So if you look at the STEM basically develops a technical and analytical skill to solve the problem, whereas the STEAM pyramid combines those skills with the creativity and design thinking to create a solution that are both effective and appealing. So that is a difference between STEM and STEAM pyramid. If you compare the STEM and STEAM, As we already discussed many points, I'll just coming to the summary of this STEM and STEAM. The components required for STEM engineering is it requires science, technology, engineering and mathematics, whereas STEAM requires science, technology, engineering, arts and mathematics. So the STEM mainly focuses on technical skill and problem solving ability, whereas the STEAM focuses on technical skill with the creativity and innovation. So these words are very important. Creativity and innovation is very important in STEAM approach. Then coming to the learning style, the STEM basically uses the analytical and a logical type of learning, whereas STEAM uses analytical and creative type of learning. The goal for STEM engineering is it's a functional solution, whereas STEAM functional and aesthetically appealing solution. The outcome of STEM engineering is a technical competency, whereas the STEAM engineering the technical competency with the creativity and communication.